Welcome, Lassiter teachers. I see lots of familiar faces in here. Couple newbies. Glad to see you guys. Oh, thank you. My decorator takes care of that for me, also known as Mrs. Unger. She's got some decorating skills, if you didn't know. All right. So I see 7th grade. I see Mr. Lickvar in here. I see 8th grade, Mr. Wolkensberg, Miss McKinney, Miss Anacat, Miss Kowal. See you. I think, Miss McKinney, are you 8th grade?
Yes, I'm 8th grade. I'm on Team Columbia. I'm with Ken Beam.
Nice.
I'm new this year.
Outstanding. Miss Kowal, you're 7th grade, correct?
I am 6th grade.
Oh, 6th grade. So I get a little confused. It happens. I'm an older gentleman, as it may be. Look at that. You guys are on here. All right. So I just want to talk a little bit. This is JCPS Minecraft. We're going to talk about Minecraft Education Edition, kind of the how-tos and the whys of why you don't want to use this in the classroom. I also want to cover really quick some of our norms going into this. And I'm going to stop presenting my screen just so you can see me talk. And I see Mr. Lickvar, brave soul. I love it on here. Camera going the whole time. That's outstanding. So that would be one of our norms that we'd like to have cameras on if possible. I understand some people may be in cars. Hopefully you're not driving. But I know this is very interesting stuff. Look at that. Hey, Mr. W, we're going to want to see that baby at some point. Just saying. Thank you, Ms. McKinney.
On house right now, so maybe if you get some during the next hour, we'll see.
All right, we'll wait. So main norm, we want to respect, make sure we respect each other's times. I try to get started as quickly as possible. I will not keep you late, so respect your time there. Respect the group's time if you would. If you have questions, absolutely feel free to ask. You can type them in chat. You can unmute. This is a small group. We all know each other, so no worries on that. Just, once again, just be respectful. Make sure you're being constructive when you do ask questions. Minecraft is not for everyone. Minecraft is not for every student. It's for about 99% of them, but there's going to be that 1% that, well, they're not going to like it, and that happens. But remember, hopefully this is part of you building your repertoire of choice, giving kids choice of what they can learn or how they can learn in school or demonstrate their learning. I do believe Miss Unger used it today in the library, which I was very excited about. For our visual impaired students, if we have any out there today, I'm Mr. Unger. I'm wearing a green shirt, short hair, a little bit of gray in there. I've got kind of a Halloween decorated bookcase behind me, and that's my layout. We're also going to be looking at lots of screens today from Minecraft. All right. So if you're in that line or whatever, understand this will be recorded. You can go back and I'll send this out so everyone can see it later on. And with that, we're going to go ahead and kick this off. Minecraft. So just kind of give me a little idea of what you know about Minecraft. Miss Unger, what do you know about Minecraft at school? It's a tough question, I know. Minecraft. I mean,
that what I learned last year is that the kids know a lot more than we do, and it gives them an opportunity to teach other students in class and teach us as educators.
I like that. And I did write. Okay, so obviously, Mr. Unger, Miss Unger, we're in the same house. So yeah, I'm getting heckled now with my training skills. I did write that down. Kids know more. Honestly, that is probably. So I just drove home, got here. I was kind of worried I wasn't going to make it home because of outer loop traffic. I was at Hartstern Elementary. So one of the first things, yeah, kids know more. And teachers are sometimes reluctant to go into something when they are not the masters of that domain. I will tell you, Minecraft is going to be one of those domains. You are not the master of it. I've been doing this since about a month after Education Edition came out, which it came out at the end of 2017. I knew Minecraft before that in the private gaming world, but Education Edition's been out. I've worked with it since it's been out. Elementary, second grade. I was at second grade class. This is the first time some of them had seen it. They blow past me. They just pick it up and they run with it, but they love having that ownership. It's one of the great things about it is saying, okay, Dave, what can you show me in Minecraft? Because this is how I would do it. How would you do it? And they're crazy good with it, which is just, it's great that they know that. They love having that ownership. So kids know more. That's a perfect statement. And I did not set her up with that, I promise. Mr. Wolkensberg, what do you know about Minecraft in the classroom?
My experience with it was we used it to one thing we did successfully was we were able to kind of create settings. So we had read Lord of the Flies, and then the students kind of took a template of a kind of a blank island that we found on the web, and then kind of took that and then customized it into the island from Lord of the Flies. That was successful. Then my goal was, so we did that as a whole class. I kind of broke them up into small groups, and each group as a whole class would be responsible for a different part of the island. And that went great. Then my goal after that, the follow-up was to take those small groups and then have them each make a duplicate copy of the island so that each small group then could set up signs with events from the story that happened in different places in the island. And that's where I fell short. And some of my students were able to kind of find some solutions that work for some of them, but not all of them. So I'm eager to kind of see where I can correct that for a future lesson.
Wow, that's outstanding. So first of all, this tells me right now, you guys have a great resource in the building because not only was he saying, we used it for setting, which is a very often used one, especially with language arts, as they use it for setting because it is a building game. That is what it started out with. It's an open world sandbox. If you can think of it, the only limit in Minecraft is your imagination. And that's honest. I was with second grade today. I use it up with seniors in high school. There's college courses on Minecraft. You can use it. Science, math, social studies, language arts, any content area, business, filmmaking class uses it in high school at Eastern. There's just no limit. It's really just, how can I use it? And then figuring out how to apply it. And then that's where the kids come in. As Mr. Wolkensberg was saying, they were coming up with different ways to do things, getting around problems. That's that innovating. There's so many, and I got to touch on backpack because, that's another thing we do. The backpack skills that are in there, he was talking about collaboration. He had them working in small groups. He had them working in whole class. With Minecraft, you can have them working individually. That's the easiest way. That's what Miss Unger was doing in her library today. And that was just quick. 20 minutes, build the scene from your story, your personal narrative that you can represent some action or something going on in it, because sixth grade have a hard time getting a hold of detail words and understanding what details are. So they did it in Minecraft, and then they're like, oh, those details. So it kind of, and then it was talking about what could you not do? Well, I couldn't do smells in there. I couldn't do sounds in Minecraft. But once again, that's getting them to think about those details. What would be in a story that can be in Minecraft, that can't be in Minecraft? It's just a tool. It's not going to teach the kids for you. It's just using it how you can apply it. So setting was great, the different groups. And again, that Mr. Wolkensberg was already doing that tells me he's got it going on. We're going to maybe look for some little things that we can help him with. He's got a lot of that going. Miss Kowal, I'm just going around my screen. I know everybody's looks different, so I'm going to go to Miss Kowal. Do you know anything about Minecraft in the classroom or anything about Minecraft?
I'm 100% a novice. I know nothing other than the kids love it. I know nothing. I've never been on it. So I'm really excited.
That the kids love it. So you do know something.
Yeah, that's about it. And I've seen them. They'll come up to me and be like, look what I created. And I'm like, good job. But I don't even know what I'm looking at. And they'll sit there and explain it to me. And they're really excited about it. So I told them I was selling it today because on Friday we're going to be with Mrs. Unger. And we're going to be doing the same activity she did today with Libby. And they are so excited.
And I love to see, and you said something else that's in there. When you get them to do something in there and then you have them explain it, they're so excited. They don't even go into that whole nervous, like, no. You can't get them to stop talking, which I know is that's kind of like a big thing now after a year and a half of virtual, getting them to talk and come out of that shell. We have guidance counselors using this for SEL, doing lessons and getting the kids to open up across the district. Guidance counselors are loving it. So you're actually taking a good key piece out of this, Ms. Kowal. That's great. Mr. Lickvar, Minecraft, thoughts?
Can you hear me? First of all, I don't know if my microphone's working.
We got you.
I've never used it in the classroom other than like we had a reward day a couple of weeks ago, and I started trying to play it with kids, and I just ended up like hitting the wall for a long time, and then I was able to get outside, and then I like busted up a cactus or something like that, and that was the extent that I've used it. But I know like my sister's stepson loves it. And so like when we're at family gatherings, he's always like, can I just play Minecraft on the iPad or whatever? And so, you know, so I know that kids love it, and I've seen a lot of them, and I've tried to play it. I haven't really figured it out yet.
Yeah. And again, I'll tell you, I can go around and do stuff and build, but my expert is my 6th grader that's upstairs. He'll just run rings around me as far as doing anything in there. I'm so slow, but as far as applying it, knowing how to use it in the classroom, the background networking stuff that nobody wants to do, I can do that. But as far as being in the game, the kids are always going to know more, but that's great. Does he like showing you what to do, or did the kids try to help you on Fun Friday?
When I was like, how do I break stuff? One of them gave me a tool because I was like, I'm just punching the wall and I don't know what to do. And they're like, here's a pickaxe or whatever.
Here's a pickaxe, sir.
Yeah. But that was about it. It was really only for like 10 minutes, so it wasn't long.
And that's the other thing. It doesn't take long. You can go completely in depth. You could do a whole 6 weeks, nothing but Minecraft, or you could do what Miss Unger did today, 20-minute snippet. We're going to use it. And that's the best way to use the tools in the classroom. Honestly, I don't care if it's Nearpod. Nobody wants to look at a Nearpod for 45 minutes either, right? You guys don't. The kiddos don't. Miss McKinney, what do you know about Minecraft?
I have a daughter who plays, and that's about it. Sometimes my husband will play with her, so I'm in the room. She's very proud of the things that she builds. She does very elaborate builds. She doesn't play quite as much anymore, usually only like once a month, but she still loves it. But I've never used it in the classroom.
That's outstanding. The ownership they have, there's just seeing them do it in a class. Just today, they were kind of like herding kittens because it was 2nd grade, getting towards the end of the day in the classroom. And I was like, oh my God, I did not know it was 2nd grade I was walking into. So I get in there, I'm like, oh, these are little guys. But we got them going. And as soon as they get going, like the classroom's just like rowdy, right? And then all of a sudden it just dies down and they're like they're going. And I was like, oh, this is beautiful. Now I know why the 2nd grade teachers were calling me in to come work with their students. But they have these things, and then they're like, they don't know who I am. Never been in there before. Giant white guy, come here. Hey, look at this thing I built. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I gave them a quick challenge. On Friday, your teacher's going to look at this, and you guys are going to have a challenge. She's going to put them up on the board to see who's got the best treehouse. I just went with generic treehouse challenge. I was like, who can build the best treehouse? Because I was helping to get them online and showing them what it was. And just like what you're going to run into, you've got high flyers and you've got kids that have like, how do you put a block down? So you'll be like, oh, I feel you. I completely understand that. And when you're dealing with an iPad, it's different than a Chromebook. Minecraft is the same. It's great. They can actually get in the world when you're doing some of those grouping things that Mr. Wolkensberg's talking about. You can be on Windows, MacBook, iPad, Chromebook. They all talk to each other, which is great. The controls are all a little bit different, as you can imagine, especially with an iPad. But this is where those kiddos come in and leveraging them. All right. But good thing is I do not, and I'm going to share my screen now. I'm going to get my face off of here a little bit. Let's go to the JCPS Minecraft website. If you have not seen this, and I'll send a whole bunch of stuff out to you guys after this. jcps.me/mee is a JCPS Minecraft website. The first thing on there, when you get a parent or another teacher going, oh, I don't know why I want to use that, play this video right here. This was made, Microsoft came to the district and worked with us during the pandemic because of how many students we have using this, how much engagement we get out of this. This is crazy. The end of last year, When we came back into the building, I thought our numbers would come down because we were back in person. Our numbers for Minecraft kept going up. We had a fifth of the students in JCPS were using Minecraft. We had 20,000 individual logins. That's different users that are unique, not the same person over and over. Logged in and was using Minecraft. And it's just blown me away how big this has been in the 3 years I've been with digital innovation. Oh, so if you don't know me, background, I was on Mr. Wolkensberg's team. I was Cambridge for about, 7 years on Cambridge, 8th grade, doing science, everybody's favorite. And then I took the Vils coaching position at Lassiter for the first year of the Verizon project. And now I'm with JCPS Digital Innovation at the district level I support all the middle schools now, which is fun because I was doing elementary for a while. I'm over all the middle schools with digital innovation now. I also lead up the Minecraft strategy for the district and the Girls Who Game strategy. So if anybody wants a girls club, oh, wait a minute, we have one at Lassiter. But if she ever wants to pass that baton, let her know. It is an outstanding girls club. Mentors come in. We're working with Kindred Health this year. It's so good. But you can ask about that later if you want. The Minecraft website. Some of the best things on here take you to on Twitter. And I mean, one thing we do, we got to feed the Twitter. At Playcraft Learn, which is the Minecraft handle at Playcraft Learn. I have their feed actually embedded in the website just because of the great things that are in there. There's always worlds in there. There's simple little challenges that are in there. Just Microsoft alone does a weekly challenge, a monthly challenge, and then they have big like annual challenges that they post in there that you can get an idea from. This would be great for my kiddos. Lessons are always being posted in there. Different grade levels, different content areas. There's always a good mix just showing up in there. So this is a great thing to have in there. I used to have this little top 10 things I would tell people about Minecraft before going in. I think after a couple of years in the virtual world, everybody's starting to get the norms down about how we should be doing anything virtual, anything where we're taking kids onto the devices. So this is kind of old news now. Intro to MEE. How is this different? And again, a lot of people are so far past this now. I love having it though, because people say, well, it's just a game out there. Yeah, Minecraft, it is still a game out there. You can still get it on PlayStation, Xbox, iPad. You can get the regular Minecraft edition. But the education edition has so many new tools in it. There's a whole science pack, lots of different things like that. The code builder, all the coding that's going on. There's 3 different levels of coding. You can do the simple like Tinker blocks where you put a block in and you put another block in it and execute the code. Super easy. It also has Python in it where we have high school kids learning how to code Python in Minecraft. It's just amazing what you can do. Excuse me, sorry, taking a drink there. Lots of training today. So all of that's in there. There's special blocks that are within the Minecraft world, which we can get into. It gets really complex. There's allow, deny, border blocks, some things you may never even look at. They're built into most of the world. You don't even see them. To go beyond some of the things, I will not hit all of the controls. I have videos on the Digital Learning channel. If you go to YouTube, look up JCPS Digital Learning. We have a channel with thousands of videos just from JCPS teachers, our team, gifted and talented. There's teacher playlists. But you go to the Minecraft playlist on YouTube from us. These videos are on there. I could talk about just the settings window, half an hour, easy. And that wouldn't even be deep diving into what some of them mean. It would just be kind of like what they are quickly to turn them on and off and switch between them. We're going to hit some important ones today, like creative versus the survival worlds, things like that we really need to know. But if you want to dig a little deeper on that, you can check out those videos. And there's more on there. If you want to see some of the lessons we've done, they're on there with going out to schools. We record those. I've got one that it took me a month and a half of going to a class and doing an extreme weather lesson where they built it. They talked about it. It was one of those things where they did a little bit over and over, and it turned into this whole unit on extreme weather, and they were defending a town. It was elementary, but again, it can kind of show you how we integrate that into the normal unit of doing things. How to, this is always the big one on there. Not the remote learning, that's great. This slide right here, I send people at least once a day, if not more. How do I get this on my Chromebook? Why is my version not talking to each other? All on here. How to update, how to install it, whether it's a Chromebook, a Windows machine, a Mac machine, the iPads, and the iPad's really for you. It's like, hey, Miss Bratcher, we need Minecraft pushed out or updated. And then that's really it from there. But with Chromebooks, it's a little more. There's the guide at the bottom is actually, this is embedded. This is from the Microsoft website, because people think that they're going to find some secret to making a multiplayer game happen on Minecraft. Honestly, as long as you're either all at school or you're all at home, you should have no problems. You generate a code, they put the code in, they join. If there's anything that doesn't work after that, you can look at that whole 8-page guide on networks and things. It really does not matter. Generally, it's something on the device. Either the game's not updated, or the game's not updated. Also, you can't host a game at school and have kids at home join, because there's a block at the state level, which they cannot open, that it will not allow the port to talk, let the game go back and forth through it. It's just basically sealed, and they will not open it. So you either have to be all at school or all at home. Multiplayer. Also, content ideas. Like Mr. Lickvar had the content idea with doing setting. That's great. On this slide right here, and Miss Unger did one today with, it was almost like doing setting. It was like really like build the event that's in your personal narrative. What happened in your narrative? Can you build it? But so on this right here is completely JCPS teachers that came up with all of these different ideas. 2.5 years ago, we did a Minecraft week, which sadly, I've been told I cannot do it again this year. Every day of the week, a different content area was focused on. So we had language arts teachers on Monday. Then Tuesday, we had all social studies teachers. We did a different content area every day. They produced these ideas throughout that week, and I just took them and put them all together. So when you get to, here's reading, visual story setting, look at that map of setting. These are first ones on there because that's the ones people always go to, is doing setting. Comprehension of characters. If you know a game, there's what's called NPCs. That's a non-player character. In Minecraft, you can program them with what you want them to have is what they say. You can actually, when you talk to them, it can affect the world and change things when you talk to them. You can set that. You can put outside links like, hey, you're going through a, let's say you're doing a, like there's a zoo built inside of the Minecraft world. The kids walking through, they talk to the NPC. It can have a link that goes out to a YouTube video, or maybe you have a Miss McKinney's website that it links to on that page that the kids are looking something up. So it can link out to that. It's just a good, safe way to put those links together the kids can get to. It's just outside of the Minecraft world. It's taking it further. So you can do that. They did characters, timelines. You can set up lit trips. I'm not even sure what a lit trip is, but if you know lit trips, you can do those. You can build those in Minecraft. I'm kind of thinking like what I have seen done, maybe not lit trips, maybe the same thing, but like the Odyssey. And I talked about this with Miss Unger, just something I'd seen a teacher do where they took all of the different pieces of a book, you know, like each chapter, something happens. They did like 2 or 3 kids were doing each chapter, and they had to build the series of events in Minecraft that, like, if you walked through the world, it was like you were walking through the different chapters of the book. And how each group represents that, it's always a little different what they're getting out of that chapter. So it's great to see that representation. And then always afterwards, have them screen record. Tell me about it. What did this mean? What were you trying to convey here? What did you think the important pieces were that you put in here? And then they talk about it. And again, like Miss McKinney was saying at the beginning, they start talking about it and they just won't stop, or Miss Kowal. But that talking piece where the kids get excited and they start explaining, they really dive into that content. First experience in writing narrative collaboration on Minecraft. They get together. We'll look real quick at the book and quill and the camera inside of the game, because another thing teachers say, well, they're doing stuff in the world. How can I see it? You don't want to go into every world. I can guarantee you that. Honestly, what I tell most teachers, the quick and easy thing, have kids screenshot on their device or screen record. Doesn't have anything to do with Minecraft, right? Screenshot, screen record. And then if they do a screenshot, they can pop it into a slide. You can have them write all day then, whatever you want them to do. If it's a screen recording, same thing. They can take that recording out of their Google Drive, put it into a Google Slide, a Google Doc. They can do voice with it. Or again, language arts. We can make them write about it now that they have it. They built it. They should easily be able to talk about it now. So that's in there. The collaborations where you get them working together, doing a group, have one person build and then the other person try to explain it. Always funny outcomes there. But with the booking quill, I kind of jumped past that real quick. Sorry. With the booking quill is they can type in the game. There's a camera in the game that takes little snapshots of different things in the game. It will put that picture into this book. I think the book can be up to 50 pages long. So they can put it in there, and this is all in the game world. They can write about it in the game world. And what they do then is they publish their book in the game world, and it makes it like an enchanted object. It starts glowing. When they go back into the book, you can't change anything, so they can leave those out. You can make a whole shelf of these books. But the greatest thing is there's a button once it's been turned enchanted. When they open it, there's a button that says export at the bottom. It exports as a PDF file. That PDF, backpack loadable, turn it in for a class project. It's a PDF. It takes all the writing, all of the pictures that were in the book are now in that PDF. And PDF, once again, I don't have to do anything with Minecraft. I don't have to know anything about Minecraft, but I can open a PDF and look at it and see what the kids wrote me. Once again, you may not get that far. You may just say, hey, take a screenshot, put it in a slide, and you can have the questions already going for them. This is what you're going to need to answer. You have that slide set built. It's assigned in Google Classroom. Also, remember, guys, if I'm going too fast or if you have a question, just let me know because I'm trying to blaze through this. There's a lot of material. We're halfway through our time. We haven't even looked at the game yet. Oh, my goodness. So know this is on here. Certification, you can get Minecraft certified. This is on here. You click it. It's going to take you, this green button, it's going to take you to the Microsoft Minecraft Academy. A lot of people cannot find it, so I have this button on here. It's not easy to find because people end up going to the actual Minecraft website. It's not on there, which you'd think it would be on the Minecraft education site. That is a great repository for pre-built worlds. I will briefly look at that website just to kind of show you what that looks like if you ever look for it. And they just redid the site, which is nice. And you're not seeing it, so let me unshare that tab and share a new one.
Does the certification count for PD credit by any chance?
Always a good question. It does not at this time. Certifications for anything don't count. You can get Microsoft, Minecraft, Google. The only time Google counts for PD credit is when we're doing one of our hosted events to come in and do it with us. And then you get like, I think 3 hours of PD credit. But this has not been done because we'd have to do an in-person PD and then set it all up. And we're not allowed to do PD right now because apparently we're short teachers in the district. If you didn't know that, I don't know. So yeah, not currently. Always a question. Can I get my hours? I understand. But you will be getting hours for this. So the Minecraft website is great. The best thing on it is this stuff right down here. These buttons, discover, get started. That's great. Connect, resources. Resources. Oh, wait a minute. Explore 500 plus lessons, immersive worlds, challenges. This is where so many people go. I'm going to touch on it because people are going to go there. This breaks down lessons. You can get pre-made worlds. It'll give you a little lesson, like have the kids do this, this, and this. But you need to be very familiar with what you're going to give the kids. I get a lot of teachers that say, hey, I want to use this world. I'm going to send it out to my kids. What do I do now? I'm like, have you looked at the world and gone through it? Because there's going to be a lot. These worlds are super detailed. There is a lot to them. No, I do not want to participate in a survey. What this is training. Here we go. So it breaks it down. They've got, we'll go to language arts. And I go to language arts. Find in the subject kit. No, let's move down here. Oh, anybody know the Fantastic Mr. Fox? But yeah, okay. So Miss McKinney, this world, if you know Fantastic Mr. Fox and you go in this world, it is super detailed. Like everything, even the smallest things they talk about in the book are in this world. It is insane. But if you just put the kids in, it's like a playground. It's like taking them into the gym, giving them no rules, no specifications, and say, I want everybody in the gym. I'll see you in half an hour. It's not going to turn out well. These worlds are great. You need to have a very definite purpose when you're using them, and you should have already explored the world to know what's in there. I recommend for most people, if you're new and you're just going into this, like Mr. Wilkinsburg said, you just start a world, just start a generic world, open it up, and let them go. These are going to have very specific parameters. Every single one is going to have different things turned on or turned off that kids won't be able to do. Next thing, when you go into these and the kids are limited on what they can do, they don't have an inventory. They'll only have like a couple things. They'll be able to take damage. They won't be able to fly. They're not in what's called creative mode. They will very quickly turn on what's called world builder mode and give themselves the ability to do all the things they should not do. And you're going to be like, I don't know what is going on. Because again, the kids fly away and you're like, I don't know what happened. So be familiar with them. Don't be afraid of them, but make sure you explore them. Just big warning on these. They are great. There's hundreds of them. They are superb. But even me, if I do use one, I usually go in ahead of time and I make some modifications to the world, just so I really have a good feeling of what's going to be going on in there. If you get to that level and you ever need help, just let me know. I'm an email away.
I thought it was harder to use the pre-made worlds than it was just to have the kids create their own.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely.
And doesn't the app have some really simple worlds on it? I think the island that we used, I didn't have to download it. It was just in the education app already. And it was really simple. And so, but it was just enough for the kids to kind of build out and do their own thing with. Does that sound right? It's been a few years, so I'm trying to.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And there's actually been some changes. There's even more built into the game. So I'm going to show you this real quick. This is in there. There's a language arts pack. You can click on that. It'll take you to some specific ones that came out from the National Writing Project. I mean, big names get in on these. The World War I is Digital Labs is in that. There were some social justice. There we go. Good Trouble did this one with the social justice. I just had a school doing this one, was telling me about it, and they really liked it, which is great. The Digital Citizenship, I think that's a fun one. This is one where you just put kids in on their own, and they go through it. And the agent, which is a coding guy, he comes in and actually trolls them in the game. So that's kind of funny to see when they're getting treated sometimes the way they want to treat others in a game, and they go, oh, I really didn't enjoy that very much. So definitely some good lessons learned in those if you're doing digital citizenship type lessons with them. All right, so this is Minecraft. Is everybody seeing my screen? Head nods. All right, super. Just this screen. Once you log in, you have to use your credentials. Once you do it one time, it should, look at that on an iPad, Mr. Lickvar, my star student. I'd throw a plushie at you, but it wouldn't be effective right now. So this screen right here is going to be very important. Every time there's a new update, and there's an update coming out. So if you get your kids excited and you're wanting to kind of get them a little more buy-in, tell them you know some secrets about what's coming to Minecraft Education Edition soon, because this is not out yet. We have special Microsoft contacts. If you know anything about Minecraft, some of the big things are the updates they do. They do expansions to the game. Some of the recent ones that came out were Caves and Cliffs, I think about 6 months to a year ago. And then right along with that, there was another one a few months away from that called the Nether update. We are getting both Caves and Cliffs and the Nether update, all of the things that came with that, which again, that probably means nothing to you. The kids will be super excited that that is coming in the next update from Minecraft Education, along with a whole bunch of built-in teacher controls, which will be great when we make videos for them. Pretty excited about it. how big this is getting. But the reason I mentioned all that is this bottom corner. Do you see where it says V 1.14.7? Head nods? We see that? Okay, there we go. That is super important when you're having kids and you're wanting them to do multiplayer, or they're trying to join each other's worlds. If they do not all have the same version number, sometimes their devices don't update and it'll say 1.14.5 or 0.3. They will not talk to each other if it's a different version. And that's one of the first things I point people toward is that number down there. So know about that. The other thing, this guy right here, this is my in-game avatar or my skin in the game. And I love this little guy with a tie. I always keep the same one. One of the fun things that kids like to do is they get that ownership we talked about. When you click on this clothes hanger, they're going to get the option to pick from all these different skins in the game. And there's different little what's called skin packs of characters they get to pick from. And they can go through. What's exciting for the kids is, one, this gives them that image of themselves. They love having that ownership. But also, if you have regular Minecraft, all of these packs cost real money. So the fact that we have Education Edition, these come with it and it's free. So they get to go through. You'll have astronauts running around, police officers. There's all kinds of different ones. It gets crazy down here. I also like this guy in the creeper hoodie. We'll talk about a creeper here pretty soon, but make a big deal about it. Let the kids pick their skin. It gets to represent them in the game world. When they take pictures or videos, that's what they'll see. It'll also have their name on their head, and you'll see that in a minute. But let them do that. They love that. I'm going to click play. And in here, here's that view library. This is what Mr. Wolkensberg was talking about with the library. They now have remember those subject kits I was showing you? They kind of have an abbreviated list in here, but it's already built in where we used to have to go to the internet, get the world file, and then you can so what you can do is you can get those pre-built worlds. You upload it to Google Drive like you would any other file. Once it's in Google Drive, you can assign it in Google Classroom. And what it does is it's just like a Google Doc. When the kids click on it, everybody gets their own copy. So you can do that with these. But they can also just be sent in here. This was probably my favorite because I love the build challenges. When people say, what should I do as like a first thing? Build challenges are great because these are things that they've used over different months. See, this is a favorite right here. Book covers. Kids design a book cover. They all have different books, Lightning Thief, Knight, whatever their book may be that they want to do. So on the book covers, you can give them their assignment and they have to design what the book cover for their assigned book would look like or whatever, book they're looking at. But it's just a quick challenge. There's nothing you have to concentrate on. The world's pre-built. They click on it. It's going to generate that blank book you see. It's very big in the world. But they then build on it to make the cover of their book. And they get extremely creative, more than you would imagine. Not all, but some. I've never seen a class where they've gotten an assignment in Minecraft. You give them the assignment and they go, and they get there and everybody just kind of does the minimum. You'll have a couple that do that, but most of them, what you guys were already talking about, they're going to go so far past that and they're going to be talking about it. Oh, this is what I did on mine. That excitement. I love that. Build a better room. This is a great one. They love building rooms. This is more math, but with math, you can give them different volumes to do, surface area, which typically, if you talk to Mr. Carney or Miss Williams or any of your math teachers there, Miss Mauser, I don't think that's her name, Miss Wyatt. Miss Wyatt, thank you, Mr. Lickvar, for the head nod. Miss Wyatt. Kids have such a problem. A lot of kids, not all, there's a couple that are really good at it, but most of them have an issue when they're doing spatial things and they can't visualize surface area or, square meters, square feet, or cubic. They don't get it. But you put them in the Minecraft world and have them do it and give them a volume and say, I want you to do a tiny house. These are your room limitations. They will start doing it. And man, they'll calculate volume like that because they can see it. It gives them that better idea of what it is. But anyway, so maybe you get a math intervention at some point and you'll need something. You go, I know how to handle this. So So the build challenges are in there. Biomes and worlds, this is where you can click a biome. If you want to do tundra, you're doing something in the snow. We're doing a Call of the Wild. You can bring up the tundra biome in here. If you want to do something with the desert, you can use a desert. Just biomes are in here, ocean biomes. They're pre-built. Have them open them, and then they can go wild. Featured worlds, these are just going to be ones like the Build with Bees. These are ones that have just come out. They're fairly recent, or they're big grab ones, attention drawers. There's that Good Trouble social justice one I talked about. They're already in here. Again, the greatest thing about this is you don't have to look for them. Once you know they're in here, iPad, Chromebook, Windows, they're all going to have access to it very easy, just a click of a button. All right, down here, my favorite for newbies. If you don't know how to play, click that button that says how to play. And in here, you've got start here with keyboarding, start here for touch. If you've got iPads and you're going to want to do it on an iPad, use this one. If you're doing a keyboard like me, using a mouse, you come in here, because the reason they've separated these out, controls are different. Obviously, on an iPad, it's different than a mouse and keyboard. But it does. It'll walk you through movement. I'm not going to hit this. I almost did and almost launched into this. It's going to drop you in the world. And the first thing it's going to do is going to have a sign there, and it's going to tell you, this is what you do. Push the W button to move forward. You're going to move forward. When you work through the world, then you're going to learn all the basic controls. Place and break, how to put blocks down, how to interact with objects, doors, and switches. There's this great stuff in here called Redstone. If you ever hear kids talking about Redstone, or you see some glowing red lines on the ground, Redstone acts like a circuit. So if they want to build circuits, which you would do in like science or for logic, if you're doing programming, you can build circuits out of Redstone, and it can get crazy with what they can do. There's worlds where they've built like entire vending machines that'll distribute different blocks that are built with this Redstone mapping behind it. It's crazy to see. I've seen them build arcade games where you hit a button and something's shooting and launching an arrow at a target that's moving in the background. It's all controlled by Redstone that they've built in this world. It gets nuts with what they can do. Woo! All right. So this is all in here. These are great. View my worlds. This is where worlds, you're going to start out. The only thing you're going to have if you've never been in here before is you're going to have this button with a plus on it to make a new world. These are all just different worlds I've used with classes. Jamestown. This is a fun one. I use this with adults and I use it with kids. Third graders, Jamestown Challenge. They're learning about the colonies, Jamestown. You put them in there, they have to survive. It gets dark, creatures come out, they run and hide in a building. Put adults in there, same thing. Give them the challenge. They have to survive. They have to build things. They do a little bit better getting in groups in that, but guess what? When it gets dark and the bad guys come out, they all get together and they hide in a building. It's so funny. I don't care if you're third grade or you're 35. They all do the same thing. So funny to see. If you need help building a world, let me know. We did that extreme weather one. Coastal survival is what we called it. I built the map. It's got a little village on the side of a giant body of water like an ocean. Then the kids had to build and learn about building structures around to defend themselves from a hurricane and a flood wall. They got crazy with it. It was so exciting. So they were learning science in this, but again, they were having fun doing it. And they can explain. The thing is, the research they do, it's not in Minecraft. It has nothing to do with Minecraft. They're researching other things, or using the internet for good, believe it or not. And they're learning things that they can then come into the world, and they have to figure out, okay, well, I saw that. How would I build that in here? And then they take like glass and they're filling it with water to make like a water barrier against water. And just some of the ideas they come up with, like, oh, that's really creative. That they do. And then you maybe kind of analyze, well, maybe is glass the best thing to use in a hurricane with things blowing around? Good conversations, though, that come out of it. Just the learning they do. All right. So I'm going to hit this create new. And it doesn't matter if I hit it here, new world, or I'm going to hit create new out here. Before I do that, though, join world. If you ever hear kids yelling like panda, book, Alex, Rails, what it is when you're doing a multiplayer game, To keep it very easy, again, this is K through 12 friendly. To do a multiplayer game, when you start the world, it's going to give you a code of 4 of these: a balloon, a bucket of water, Alex, and a cookie. All the kids have to do to join your world is put that in. You can put it on your board or you can display it, and all they do is they put it in, and it's going to allow them to jump into the world you've created. If you have a small group collaborating, take your high flyers. They have the base world, because whoever is hosting, whoever starts a world, they are the owner of it. Miss Unger ran into this when she was doing her Girls Who Game. They didn't realize that only one person, because everybody's going to see it. If I start a world and Dave comes in and Mr. Lickvar comes in and Miss McKinney comes in, and you guys are building stuff and you leave, or if I leave, when I leave, you're going to get booted out. But everything you built, I'm the owner of. I have it in my world file. Think of it like an old Microsoft Word document. You guys came in and worked on it, but when you left, I have that Word document on my computer. You don't. So I would have to copy, export, or share that to you in a different way. You don't naturally just have it, even though you were playing it. So that's something to be careful of when you're doing multiplayer. It is very easy to do as long as all devices are working well. There will be times that it'll come up and it'll show and you'll say, Mr. Unger, my kids cannot connect in multiplayer. And that's when I can come out and talk to you and we can look at what's going on. Sometimes if I need to, we'll just do a quick meet and we can screen share and I can see, oh, I see what's going on. Thing today I had, it was a Ville school. It was, to so many schools today. One of the Ville schools, they were at Grace James. It was Grace James Academy. They had issues with some of their iPads. So what there is on the iPads, and they didn't have this when I was there, there's what's called the self-service portal. And the kids can go in, open this up, and they can put all these different apps on their iPads. Have you guys seen that? Yeah? No? No? Okay, well, there's an app on there called self-service portal on their iPad, and it's got like 30 different apps on there. Anyway, they were loading their iPad with apps. When you run Minecraft, first of all, if you're a teacher and you're going to host, please do it from a Windows machine. Yes, it's very much, thank you, Ms. Kowal. It's like the App Store, but it's managed down from, hundreds of thousands down to like 30 apps. But it's right on their device because they can't get to the App Store, but they can get to this. So they're like, oh, let me see what Google Sheets does. It just takes up room because they can already get to it on Chrome. Regardless, it takes up all the memory when they do that, and Minecraft loves resources. So if you're going to host, the host uses the most because when people join you, it has to create a chunk for Miss McKinney. It creates a chunk for Mr. Lickvar. It creates a chunk for Mr. Wolkensberg. It has my original chunk that I was in. So it takes the resources. So what happens is sometimes people do multiplayer. If you're only doing 1 or 2 people, maybe 3 or 4, Chromebook or iPad is typically fine unless there's a memory issue. Then you're going to get to the point where there's 3 people and other people are saying, I can't join. It keeps failing. It's because there's not enough memory on those devices. So just be aware that you can see that. If you host, like I can host from here, I can hit the max capacity for any world in Minecraft is 30. Except for the new update coming out, it's going to be 40, just so you know. I'm going to start a new world. I'm going to keep everything as is. I just hit new. If you missed that, I clicked through it really quick. I just hit create new. You can go to templates or you can hit templates are fine too. Blocks of grass is probably the most used one. I just like go to create new, hit new. And it's going to create this. So flat world is just that. Blocks of grass is literally blocks of grass for infinite. If you keep moving, it's just going to keep making blocks of grass in the horizon. When you do this one, it's going to create a random world of different terrains, water, snow, all the different biomes. It's going to be a different mix. It's very random. But what you want to make sure you do is you want to switch this from survival to creative. In survival, it is where you go in, you start with nothing in your inventory, and you play the game as it was intended. You're going in, and it's a survival game. You're going in, you're going to start grabbing dirt and rocks and wood off of a tree, make your first pickaxe, and you can start breaking more things, and you just keep building. Not many people really do that. You can watch YouTube videos on it. We're going to put it in creative mode. What that does, your health, your hunger, all that's gone, so you can't get hurt. You can fly. If you jump twice, you'll start flying, so you can move around the world very easily. When you hit your inventory, instead of it being empty, you have access. Inventory is opened with the E button because E stands for everything. It has everything in there then when it's in creative. So I'm going to hit play and jump in here. And it'll take a minute. It probably won't take long as I'm at home. If you're at school and you're doing this, it's going to take a while to build a world. It has to think about it a lot. And again, we're blowing through our time here. It's 4:24, and I'm just now getting into the world. You can see how much time it takes just to kind of get to understand this, which is why a lot of people like Miss Unger, I say, just give them a challenge in a world. They'll open it. They'll go on their own. You're not really dealing with elementary kiddos where you got to get them. This is how you log in. James.Unger. Now, you do have some. I know. I see you looking at me. There are some out there. I know. But you can see I'm flying now. I'm up in the air. You can see my little icon. And this is random. If I come into another world like this, it'll be completely different. There's sand. There's trees. So I gave today was a treehouse challenge, and that was generate a world on your device and make the coolest, best treehouse that your class is going to judge on Friday. Do it on your time. If the teacher gives you a couple times and she's like, yeah, get some quiet like that. That's what I gave them today for their first thing in second grade, because it was still, we were working with a couple kiddos in the class trying to get their devices updated and getting everybody on. So once everybody's on and everybody's used to it, it's like using a textbook. If you remember when we first came in, I had the option to play or host. Thank you, Mr. Wilkinsburg. If you're in the game and I just hit play, you can host at any time. You're in a world. I like to go in, get the world set up. I'll make little border areas. It's like an ISAP, a little detention room. We can get to that later. That's more advanced. But you can make little holding areas that you can teleport them into when they're misbehaving if you're doing a group world. I just like to have fun and irritate the kids. You should have seen me in the classroom. But I can just come in here and hit start hosting. And it says, are you sure you want to do that? Yeah, let's do it. And here's that code I was telling you. Pops it on there. If you're in Minecraft, you put in cake, pickaxe, agent, water bucket, and I will see your name show up below my name now if you joined my world. And when you come in, you're going to have one of these symbols beside your head. It's going to tell you basically what level you came into my world as. If you're at a crown, it means you can do anything in the world that I can do. You're basically have world builder mode. Magic button. Did you see that pop up on my screen? If you're ever like, and I don't know how to do this on iPad. I think it's one of the center keys on like the thumb controls on the left or right. But on a Chromebook, MacBook, or a Windows, if you hit the H key, I always think of it as help. If you hit H, it brings up the controls. Just some of the basic controls of how to move around, how to do code builder, which brings out my best friend. If you hit C, because people will get this, they hit it and they go, oh, I don't want that. And they close out of it. But if you look now, this new guy spawned in here. His name is Agent. Agent is the code builder in the game. So when you code things, whether it's in Tinker, Python, or the in-between language, I forget what it's called. If you code in that and hit enter, this guy is who executes your code. He goes out and builds for you. You can just sit back and watch him build. He does it all for you, and he does it very quickly, depending on your device. So he'll just suddenly pop up entire houses for kids that really know what they're doing. They can get crazy with this guy. But once he's in here, I can't get rid of him. So he's there chilling out. But I can right-click, give him inventory. He can hold things for me. Some kids will bring him in just for that purpose. They'll just make him their little courier. But as we are winding down on time, who has questions for me so I can kind of maybe help you out, point you in the right direction? Get rid of misconceptions. I don't know. Hit me.
I would like to know how to do that book thing you were describing earlier.
Nice. All right. So
the PDF file or whatever.
Yep. So I'm going to hit E on here to open up my inventory. I'm going to type in book. There's this guy right here, book and quill. And just for fun, I'm also going to bring out the camera. Again, typically your kiddos are going to know what they're doing with these. They will not know about the export. They'll be like, oh, I know what that is, but they're not going to really know. So first of all, let's use the camera. I'm going to sit it out here and go, oh, here's some pretty flowers. Oh, look, I took a picture. It's like a little Polaroid popping up. You can also, nope, I just took a picture of a hole. You can set the camera down and get it to do a selfie, and I'd probably have to get my child to show me how to do that because I don't remember. But you can place the camera down. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going to switch over to my book and quill. So you saw me take pictures. I'm going to go into my book, and as I said, you can go through. There's lots and lots of pages in here. That's super. I can say, hello, this is my test booklet. Whatever you want. I'm going to go over to this page. There's a little pencil at the bottom for editing, right? We know that. And different pieces down here, importing, moving to the next page, trashing. You can delete a page. That one that looked like a picture, it does that. It opens up your photo journal. Click on, I kind of like this, a little empty space in the middle. I'm going to put that picture in my book. Maybe I write about it. Super. You can keep doing that page after page after page. Talk about your build. I'm going to sign my book. So I have to give a title. That's book 133, all right, for Lassiter. All right, note, when you sign the book, it will no longer be editable. So that's important. Remember I said, once it's done and signed, kids can put it in their world. Nobody can change it. It's there. So I'm going to sign and close, but that also means I can't go in and update it. So notice it's glowing now. All right, I have a signed book now. So when I open it, I say, oh, okay, Mr. Unger did his great little book. That's so nice. But notice now the bottom button down there, it has changed. Oh, also for my ESL friends out there, if you hit these little guys that you see on everything in here has Immersive Reader through Microsoft, which is probably one of the best ones out there. I mean, it's Microsoft. It translates to like 100 and some different languages, the different text that's in here. Super fun. It's very handy to know if you're working with those ESL kids and you need that, or the ESL teacher wants to know about the supports like that, you can show them that. It's in there. The NPCs will have that button. When you put up chalkboards that have directions on it, it'll have that button that they can hit. But for Mr. Lickvars, going down a rabbit hole there, sorry. Export. I'm on a Windows, a little bit different, but it's going to give me a file. And right there, it says, testbook 133 Unger JPDF. This should go without saying, but I'm an old school computer guy. Pay attention to where you're saving things. Probably the biggest thing kids do is like, oh, I saved it. I just don't know where it's at. So understand your file system when you save things. So I'll just go to downloads. I can go to pictures, music. My documents are all broken up in here. I'm just going to keep it in downloads because I usually clean that out every week. Just get rid of the trash in there. But I'm going to hit save. And I now have it saved on here. Now, it's not in my Google Drive. It's not ready for Classroom yet because it's still on my computer. On a Chromebook, typically on Chromebooks, it's going to save right into their Google Drive, which is a good thing about Chromebooks. I think on an iPad, it may give you an option. It may not. It's either going to save it to your files. And a lot of people don't realize on your iPad, there's an app called Files, which kind of does the same thing. There's not a lot of onboard memory on an iPad, but it is there. So it can save it to the files. Sometimes on an iPad, it depends on the version you're running. It'll give you the option to save to your cloud drive. I don't recommend your iCloud drive because most people are not going to have access to it after they do that. Save it to your iPad. And then, okay, so I've done that. I'm going to get out of here. I'm in the world. That's super. I'm going to exit out of here. Exit. Everything you do in the world stays. That world you had originally, if you change things in it, you go through and break a bunch of stuff, you can't go back. It's in there. So when you leave that world, you're like, oh, I'm going to leave it without saving. it doesn't matter. Everything you've done, it remembers. If you've had a class in, everything that class did, it keeps. So if you made a copy of the world, you're golden, because the original you had then will still work. Save your new one with a different name. Make one for every period. If you're doing, some people do every period, they have a class come in and use the same world over and over. Call it, Tom Sawyer period 1, Tom Sawyer period 2, and maybe they're building rafts on the water. I don't know. But anyway, back to Mr. Lickvar. So I'm going to open up. I'm going to click on my documents, my files. And I can see Testbook Unger is right in there, which is super. I don't need that, but I am going to, let's drag this guy over here. Are you guys still seeing this? I think you are, right? Okay, so I'm going to open up my generic. Here's my Google page. I am logged in, which is super important. And click on my drive. And pick your folder. Let's go to Minecraft here. And there's tons of stuff in here. I'm going to hit new. File upload, find that PDF. Where did it go? Oh, it was in downloads, wasn't it? There it is. Open, and magically I have a PDF. So it's in here, and you go, well, there's a PDF. That's great. But you can upload this in the backpack. You can turn this in. These pages will be filled with text, theoretically, pictures. It's all there now, 50 pages per book. You can do unlimited amount of books, as far as I know. If you find a limit, let me know. And then they turn that in, same as anything else. Once it hits Google Drive, at this point, thankfully, which once again, this is a blessing from the pandemic. When it hits Google Drive, kids know what to do with it. Teachers know what to do with it. Everybody knows Google Classroom now. It's just so nice that we're past those basic skills. Did that answer your question, Mr. Lickvar? Yeah, thumbs up. All right, who else got a challenge for me? Anybody else? Let me go to Google Classroom. Let's say you do have a world. Let's go to Jim Savis class, go to classwork. So you can add it to your classwork if you want to put a world in there that the kids can just get their own copy of. Remember, it'll be their own copy. It will not be one that they're all in. If you want to do that, you're going to want to start one world file, have one person host it, people join it. If everybody's getting their own, you can put it under classwork, or you can just do an assignment for your kiddos. And you give them assignments the same way as you would do a Google Doc, Google Slides. Whenever you assign them something and it's making its own copy, it works exactly the same way. On the student side, they're going to see it, they're going to click it, it's going to populate it into their drive. What they do have to do from that point is they have to import it into Minecraft. And that is when you're on those buttons and you have play, start, there's an import button and they can bring the world in and it will then be in their library. And if you ever have any questions, what are you going to do?
Email you.
Yay! You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. I love doing Minecraft.